Hello everyone, it's JonathanLEGOProductions, and I'll be reviewing the Brick film, The Ultimate Lego Spider-Man, Episode 2, The Vulture, by JonathanLEGOProductions. But before I get started, I'm just gonna have to state that these reviews are made to help people improve their stop motions, not for me to hate on people, so please don't take my criticisms to heart, since I'm just trying to help. Animation. John has pretty wacky animation. It's really choppy at times, like when Spider-Man is swinging through the city, the movements look really stale and choppy. But I think if you took more pictures and increased the frame rate, the swing would look really good. Plus, the bricks supporting the characters are very annoying, especially when Spider-Man is swinging. It really makes the swinging feel less real. But the main problem I have with John's animation is there's way too many freeze frames. Instead of taking a picture and freezing it for 15 seconds, he could try and integrate more hand and body movements. He does use these type of movements, but not enough. He mostly uses freeze frames, and they don't help at all. They just take out the enjoyment of the video. The fight scene was kinda lackluster, and pretty choppy, but I know he was trying to create something cool. Though John has managed to have minimal amounts of light flicker throughout the film, I don't know if it's because there isn't much fluent animation, or he's just good in that area, but great job, man. I also think the use of clay for the blanket for Norman Osborn was really cool, and looked pretty nice. Overall, the animation is pretty subpar, but the lighting is pretty good. 3.5 out of 10. Story/plot. I feel like the story was pretty decent in this film. I really love the relationship with Peter and Harry. How Harry was mad at Peter for not showing up to help his dad Norman while he was taken hostage by Doc Ock in Episode 1. When Peter was really helping his father as Spider-Man, which I loved because it created an inner conflict within Peter, if he should tell Harry the truth or just keep his identity secret. I thought the Vulture's motivation was okay. It really was just a classic Norman fires Adrian and he goes off at Norman. It's a pretty simple motivation, but I thought the execution just wasn't there. He said he had to fire him because of hospital bills and that he's too old. Though having Norman take custody of Adrian's inventions was good, and really the only thing that was needing to be said. But making the hospital bills and his age was a kinda easy way out to turn Adrian into the Vulture, and I thought it was kinda lazy. Also, the dialogue was bad at times and just didn't sound right. But I also loved the connection between Harry and Norman. It was really nice to see how much Norman disapproves of Harry and how he easily takes Peter's side rather than his own son. Overall, the story was pretty good, and the character interaction was really great. But the dialogue and execution of Vulture's motivation weren't very good. 6.5 out of 10. Cinematography. The cinematography was pretty basic in my opinion. It really didn't do much for me as a viewer. There were different camera angles, like when Peter and Gwen were talking at the start. But he really needs to give us more different camera angles than just the same angle every time a character talks. There weren't many camera angles throughout this film. There were some movements in the fight scenes that looked pretty cool, but other than the fight scenes, there weren't many camera movements at all, which would really help him if he used this in dialogue scenes. The sets are pretty inconsistent in this film. They were ranging from okay to just plain bad. The scene where Harry is talking to Gwen over the phone was pretty good, but there weren't enough props to make it look good. Then there can be sets like when Peter and Gwen are talking in the hallway, which is just dark grey bricks, which looks really bland. Overall, the cinematography wasn't very good. 2 out of 10. Editing. The editing wasn't really that great either. The music wasn't visible at the start of the film, which made the film feel boring for a bit. But in the middle, there was a lot of music added, which really helped out a lot. There weren't many sound effects at all, which would have benefited the film a lot if there were. Also, when Vulture and Spider-Man are fighting, the punches and kicks sounded really comical and silly, and just threw off the tone of the film. Overall, the editing wasn't that good. 3 out of 10.
Voice acting.
The voice acting was pretty good. Again, everyone did a good job, but I'm not really that picky with voice acting after all. But everyone put in enough emotion into their character. Everybody knew the mood that the scene was, and the performance of each person really helped out John's vision. The standout was Peter Parker, played by John himself. He really gave the nervous and worried side to Peter by stuttering in his sentences, but also the slight cockiness in others. Overall, the voice acting was pretty decent. 6 out of 10.
Conclusion.
Overall, Jonathan Lego Productions' Ultimate Lego Spider-Man Episode 2, The Vulture, is a pretty okay brick film with standard animation and a really engaging story for the most part. 5.1 out of 10. I know John has only been in the animation game for like a year, so there's a ton of time to improve. And you're already starting to improve, man, so I hope this video can help out some more. Thanks for watching. More videos coming soon.